Hey. Breaking news!
Gerald's back, everybody!
What's up,
hey.
guys?
Welcome in to the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Espo. Shout out to all you early birds in the chat talking about Judas, Leo, Steven, Nawaf. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. Of course, Amelia, Honcho, hello. Welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you being here with us early on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget, in honor of Gerald being back on the show. Gerald, are you so excited to be back?
I am very excited. I needed that 2 weeks after the gauntlet of playoffs, draft, free agency, summer league. So yeah, I'm fully recharged now. I'm tanner than I was when I left you. I'm more well rested than I was when I left you. And a lot of things happened while I was gone. So
hold on, those 4 playoff games were too much for you?
They were. The playoffs are still tiring, man.
To be fair, it was mentally exhausting. It felt like 82 playoff games.
Oh my God, those 4 playoff games.
I feel like I said other stuff too.
I stopped listening after playoffs.
So we do have a bone to pick with you,
Sure.
Gerald.
What's that?
How dare you, on your honeymoon, get on to a Suns-related Zoom call from halfway across the world at 3 a.m. just to hear what Tyus Jones, and there's no shade to Tyus, had to say at his presser. Did you not trust me to provide that information for you?
Well,
it was so much FOMO?
Well, first of all, I wasn't doing very much at that time. It was 3 a.m. in Thailand.
You should have been asleep.
So
Probably
many
should have
things
been.
I can't say, but anyways.
Yeah, I probably should.
Awkward.
But no, I didn't actually know you were going to be there. So
you didn't trust me.
I didn't
Gerald has
know that
zero
you were going to
faith
be
in
there.
me.
Hold on. No, I feel like that's less faith in me in terms of content management than it is in you. He's like, I doubt Espo thought to send anybody to a press conference.
And we all know Lindsay won't go anyway.
I mean, I'll be honest. I had the itch. We signed a point guard who was on our list of pie in the sky targets. We never thought we would get him. We got him for a vet minimum.
But Gerald, the important question is, what did you think of the press conference?
No.
We were getting there.
No. There's another question here. If you were going to go to all the trouble to be on the press conference at 2:30 in the morning in Thailand, why the hell didn't you ask a question?
Facts.
So first of all, when you ask a question over Zoom, I like to have my camera on so that they can see me because it's awkward otherwise. So I wasn't turning on lights because it's a 1-bedroom. I wasn't trying to
There wasn't a bathroom?
Wasn't trying to wake Amy up at that would look professional. Coming to you live from the toilet of this resort.
I mean, it's probably a really nice bathroom, to be honest. Let's be real.
They were really nice. But no, I just didn't really want to wake Amy up with the lights or with me asking questions while she's asleep at 3 a.m. So
whatever, Gerald.
Just not committed.
Not
half
committed.
in.
Yeah.
Half in. I don't like this.
It was a half measure. I'm sorry.
I can't believe you.
I'm still on half measure mode.
All right. Well, back to Jacob's question. What do you think of the Tyus Jones signing and everything you heard in his introductory conversation with the media?
I think it was music to a lot of people's ears in terms of having a point guard to set the table for the big three. I was not one of the people that thought that they needed a starting caliber point guard, and I think it raises some questions in terms of, are they going to be undersized? Are they going to be able to defend? Is he going to be a liability on that side of the ball? But I do think we talked a lot about turnovers, about fourth quarter offense, about just pure game management, how much more the big three had to do. And then they went out and got, 1A and 1B in terms of assist to turnover ratio over the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So they really addressed that potential problem. And at a certain point, as much as Tyus Jones probably had to be guaranteed that he would be the starter to come here for that price, getting a guy that good on the vet minimum is a win no matter what. Like, it's hard to fault them too much for that.
So what I'm hearing you're saying Bradley Beal should go to the bench.
God.
Already?
Hey, he just got
back.
You don't ease into this. You
That's
just hop
true.
in with both feet.
That's true. No, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, Bradley Beal's not coming off the bench, everybody. We know who the starting five is going to be. We know it well in advance. But what's going to be curious to me is who is finishing games and how are you going to be able to get enough minutes for Grayson Allen, for Royce O'Neal. The bench unit is a lot stronger now, though. I will say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how everything kind of came together. Like you said, you were not really on the camp of the Suns needing a starting point guard. And now here we are. Mm-hmm. Just a couple months later, they've got a starting point guard. They have a solid backup point guard as well. Just off the top of your head, because I know you haven't been able to dive really deep into all of these type of things, but how are you kind of feeling about the potential rotations that might come our way with these moves now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, the bench is a lot stronger. When you look at that second unit of Monte Morris, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, potentially Bol, Mason Plumlee, maybe one of the rookies is able to slot in there. That's a pretty strong group that you have, and it's a lot more established depth than I think we had last year. I'm not sure how much you've upgraded, come playoff time when you're down to that 8-man rotation. But I do feel like if Tyus Jones can stay on the floor, then you have somebody who's going to put the big three in spots where they can be their most effective and not have to worry about anything else. I do think they still need to worry about the turnover thing with those three in particular, because a lot, like I went through all the turnovers last year, as we know, a lot of them came down to guys not functioning in spots that they should be able to function in. So they have to be cleaner in that regard. But I do think having 2 point guards that are going to emphasize that makes it a lot better. I think they're a lot deeper. And I think Mike Budenholzer has a lot more to play with this year than maybe they gave Vogel last year.
I brought this up the other day, and I want your perspective too. I feel like the Suns still believed that they didn't need a starting point guard, but when a guy of that caliber falls to you at that kind of vet minimum, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
You adjust, and I feel like that's what happened here. It was just the value that you could get there.
Yeah, I don't think that they thought, like a lot of us, we didn't think that Tyus Jones would be available in late July, early August for a vet minimum deal. So I think at that point, like I said, like the value there outweighs potential need in your starting lineup or whatever. And we knew coming into the summer, I had reported this, that like they wanted to get at least a point guard, if not 2. And they were able to get a really good one in Monte Morris to be the backup guy. And then they were able to find one who's a starting caliber one in Tyus Jones.
It kind of seems like with that report that you shared, the mindset was maybe 2 point guards in a backup position and see which one kind of pans out better, because you knew you were dealing with vet minimums, right? So it wasn't like you had the opportunity to go out and get one of the top 10, 15, 20, 30, however deep you want to go, point guards in the league. And then when Tyus Jones comes along, you're like, okay, well, I guess we have a starting point guard now. But I don't think that was the thought necessarily.
No, I don't think so either. I think he is a really good player, and I think the language that we heard from him in his press conference, alluding to the role that was offered here, alluding to starting with those big three, it was pretty clear what was promised to him in order to get him to accept that kind of a discount compared to other offers he might have gotten.
Yeah, and it was pretty clear his goal is to get to that next contract as well.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm going to do what I can, but I'm going to make some money while doing that too. So.
All right. So we have a question from Ted in the chat. They said, I'm curious if Skinny Nurk can run faster and jump higher. Well, let's talk about Yusuf Nurkic. We've seen him a couple times this offseason share some photos on his social media. He's shooting threes. He looks really fit, like he slimmed up a little bit. We even saw him and Coach Bud together. They met up somewhere overseas. I'm not entirely sure where this is. But regardless if this was planned or coincidence, they happened to be in the same area and made time to get together with one another. This is all signs point to being a really good thing.
Who took this photo?
I don't know, but it's
Why
all
are you
crooked.
600 feet
So
from them?
far away.
Listen, man.
Like it looks like they're sitting in the stands on the opposite side of the court here.
Yeah,
maybe.
Look, I spent the last 2 weeks being a good Instagram husband, so I know all the angles. This is not that angle.
No,
that is
that's
terrible.
That's a bad.
That is
bad all around.
That
That is, I was
Instagram
on the
husband
other
got
side of
fired.
the gym and decided to take a pic anyway. That's
Maybe they
rough.
had to set it up on like the scores table over there. Maybe nobody else was in the gym, and they
there
had to
you
do a
go.
timer, and they just
So
leaned the
walk
ball against,
closer,
leaned it against the ball.
Derek.
I don't know. But how are we feeling about Yusuf Nurkic? I mean, we saw the video of him taking threes. We barely touched on this last week. He is obviously putting in the work. He's a little slimmer.
Look, I like that he's slimmer. I like that he's meeting with Coach Bud. There's obviously, it's great that a coach is traveling across the globe to get to know his guys before training camp. I don't care that he's making wide open threes in a workout. Like, I mean, I can make 4 out of 10 if I'm wide open.
Can
Yeah.
you?
I used to. Okay, I
Damn.
used to be able to. I used
Just
to be
kidding,
able
just kidding.
to. I don't know if I still could, but
Yeah.
still, it's a lot easier when nobody's guarding you.
You're
There's
not
no
wrong.
pressure, and somebody is passing you at exactly where you want to be. Like,
Yeah.
so until I see it in a game, I'm gonna temper those expectations. But I do like, that he's fit. He's been in the gym all summer, and that coach wanted to meet up with him. So
Yeah, I mean, it's good that he's working on his craft. I can only put so much stock in, like you said, wide open threes in an empty gym. People are bringing up the Brook Lopez thing and the transformation he underwent with Budenholzer, and I get that, but different players, and I do think he had kind of shown at least a willingness to take threes, which Nurk has also shown. He took 1.2 last year, 2.3 the year before that, and we got excited because he hit 36% of those, which was a career high, and that's plenty. That's all you need your starting center to make. I would need to see it in actual games first before I put any stock in it whatsoever. But it is good that he's in shape, that he's getting to know Coach Bud. Bud is making the effort to get to know all of these guys. That bodes well for the upcoming season, but I need to see it in games for the 3-point thing to be exciting to me.
yeah, like let's not call him Brook Lopez. At best, you can call him Broke Lopez. All right,
Oh.
but like we're not going to
Lopez.
Brook yet. All right,
No,
come on.
blessings. Either which way, I am excited to see that they were able to get together because, in the off season it's hard, and when you have a new coach coming in, you do want to start having those conversations and that connection a little bit earlier. Oftentimes it has to happen over the phone and text messages. So we don't have the context of where they were or kind of why or how it all came to be, but the fact that they're together in a place that is not Phoenix or a seemingly go-to spot for NBA players in the offseason is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully that speaks to what Bud will be able to do as far as bringing all these guys together, get them on the same page, connect with each one of them on an individual level as well. So, I'm going to lean into the positives here.
No,
and I don't care if you need to see it in a game.
No, it's fine.
I'm leaning into it.
I got shades
Team
on,
Nurk.
so you can take them off first. Can I address the chat real quick?
No.
Thank you, everyone, for the welcome back. Leo, I see your comment. I acknowledge it. Thank you. Johnny, I think, had asked, are there any free agents worth looking at left? They are at 15 players. I know a lot of people have been wondering, well, why haven't they traded Nas or cut Nas or something like that to make spot for like a Jetty Osman or someone else that
Technically,
you
they're
could
at
get?
16, right?
Yeah, because they haven't
because they haven't
officially-
officially with EJ Liddell yet.
Yeah.
So yes, that is technically true as well. I do think, for those of you wondering why Nas is around, this isn't sourced information. This is just a hunch. But like his $6.3 million, as much as you re-sign Josh Okogie and he's another trade asset, I think you hold on to Nas going into the season, and maybe he's a guy you attach 1 or 2 second-round picks to and trade him. Because I have seen a lot of people saying you should cut this guy who's probably not going to play and sign one of these other guys. I get it, but I do think you kind of want to maintain as much trade flexibility as you can because of all the rules that they're up against.
One, that's assuming any of these guys left would want that's worth it, would want to come here like Tyus Jones did, without the promise of a starting role like Tyus Jones got. So.
Well, and you could do the exact same thing because you can carry more players during the offseason. You don't have to make a decision on cutting anybody right now. Like you could bring in another free agent if you wanted to, if they agreed to it, and not make a move until closer to the start of the season.
Yeah.
So don't put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart, whatever that thing is, right?
Either.
Yeah, exactly. Just chill. That's all.
Actually, I think you're supposed to put the horse before the cart.
I think
Otherwise,
so.
it doesn't
Take
work,
It's
right?
the cart before the horse, right? Yeah, that's what
Okay,
it is. Well, we knew
you
it
don't
was
want the
one
horse
either.
pushing the cart, I guess.
One other thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you're up.
Well, no, I've got something for Gerald when we're done with our opening.
Okay.
segment.
Well, we do have one other thing to just kind of briefly mention here. We did get word from Steve Kerr that Kevin Durant will continue to come off the bench for Team USA for the rest of the Olympics. Not really a surprise, in my opinion, based off of what we got from Sam Amick on Friday when he was talking with Ant, and then also shared that KD was very willing to continue coming off the bench, and it's been working. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And KD seems very happy in that role and to play the role that he's needed. It's not like he's losing minutes by any means. He's still contributing. So
I demand that Steve Kerr start Kevin Durant. So the Kevin Durant Ant friendship cannot continue to blossom. I'm not here for it. Just kidding. I don't care who starts.
I don't either. I would like to see Kevin Durant start, but I get it. Don't fix it if it isn't broken, that type of thing. He should probably be starting as like the greatest Team USA player in
ever
Olympic history. Yeah, but I'm not going to be too upset about it. As long as he's coming in off the bench and playing a prominent role and getting plenty of shots, like, I'm fine with that.
And like I said, he seems content with it. Like, he is okay with it.
Right.
And so if he's on board and it makes sense for them, let's not be the ones on the internet screaming our heads off if KD's not even upset about it.
No,
You know?
let's not be Celtics fans. We're better than that.
Yeah,
right?
we are.
Much better, except in championships. So.
Exactly. Psycho Blue sent us a super chat. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said, welcome back, Gerald. Not much has happened. Book has the best plus minus on Team USA. The Suns took the Wizards' best point guard again on a discount. You know, the usual.
Oh, I did become a fan of plus minus while you were gone.
We
as well.
did.
What?
But only for Team USA.
We completely turned.
my
We a 180 on plus
I was going
minus.
to say, that's not fair for me to leave for 2 weeks and you suddenly flip-flop on this.
It's only for Team USA because of
Okay.
Book. Otherwise, to hell with plus minus.
What's your thing you have for Gerald here?
So I've got something special. This is something else that's changed since you've been gone. But
Okay.
I'm going to do this for you. Across the painted desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford country. We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford country built on serving you. Sanderson Ford satisfaction in everything we do. We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford. Just for you, Gerald.
Well done. Well done. Is that a new thing?
Sanderson Ford is officially a partner of PHNX.
Has he been doing this, though?
A
Not
little
the
bit,
full
but not the
thing. Or is
full
that
thing.
just
That
for
was
me?
the
That was
first
just for
time
you.
we've gotten the full
I
thing.
had to look up the lyrics just to make sure I got it
I
right.
think Espo's trying to get a new gig with our homies at Sanderson Ford to be the voice of their jingle. And honestly, like, I think you might have a shot.
He's not bad.
think you have a shot. To be
He's not
completely,
front
I'm not
runner.
even trying to throw shade. I'm being genuine. I think you might have a shot.
I
He's
am
in the
waiting
running.
for Max to say Sanderson Ford is called and has asked you to stop
Please
singing,
stop.
please. Just stop.
Well, until that phone call happens, he's going to continue to sing it. And yes, PHNX is proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle partner. As you guys know, Sanderson Ford is America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer satisfaction, which is something they really strive to maintain. And that's one of their biggest calling cards is customer service and customer satisfaction. Gerald, there's a restaurant at their location, which is pretty dope. We were talking about that last week, and Flex was so excited about it.
You gotta
But
try
honestly,
that
it does
tomorrow.
make sense, and it goes back to the customer service side of things. And right now, the Sanderson Ford Summer Sales Event is here, and they are teaming up with the boys of summer for a final playoff payoff sale.
Playoff
Where
payoff sale.
You can purchase or lease any new Ford and get 4 tickets for your family to see the D-backs push for the playoffs.
Nice. Oh, wrong commercial. Sorry.
Plus, they have 0% financing for 36 months with no payments for 90 days on a Ford F-150, Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Now, disclaimer, you get 0% off for 36-month OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details.
Across the... No, I'm not going to do that again.
Encore.
Gerald, you saw Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
I did.
Our friend Ryan Reynolds is in it.
He is.
Making boatloads of money.
A lot of them.
Right? But, he did something before that was a big hit.
The proposal.
Oh, that too. He actually, not Green Lantern. He actually helped start Mint Mobile. And Mint Mobile is a partner of us here, and I love it, right? I've talked about it, that I have my, my burner phone, as everybody's referring to it, so I can avoid you guys on the weekends.
Sure.
But it's not just that, right? You can bring your iPhone, your Samsung, whatever you use, over there, and get full quality cell service, 5G, unlimited data, everything that you could want from our friends at Mint Mobile. But the best part, it's $15 a month.
That's big.
Wow.
That's right. $15 a month. No BS. No contracts that you need a magnifying glass like my, almost 70-year-old father to read it. Like none of that stuff, right? It's just simply $15 a month for your wireless. That's right. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15, go to mintmobile.com/sons. It's just that easy. That's mintmobile.com/sons. You forget this, but we have to say each website 3 times.
I'll write it down this time.
That's cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/sons. Look at that. You got it right.
Teamwork.
Disclaimer must be read verbatim. $45 upfront required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Don't want to know what you're doing if you're using 40 gigabytes of data. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for details.
Okay, so there's a lot of things happening at the Olympics. We've seen KD and Book all over, taking in different sports, supporting different athletes. And this past weekend, Book was out looking at some track and field and kind of got tied in with the Noah Lyles shenanigans when it comes to him taking issue with the fact that the NBA champions are often referred to as quote unquote world champions, right? And he didn't particularly love that term just because the NBA is something that's mostly in the US. Obviously, you still have Canada involved, and there are a lot of international players, but it's not a world competition like it is with the Olympics. And so Devin was asked by The Athletic about this situation. Okay, and here's what Devin said. He said, I still don't agree with the comment. I feel like all the best talent in the world is in the NBA, and this is coming from an Olympic gold medalist who believes that being an NBA champion is probably harder to do. So before we dive into that, he also went on to say, as far as the statement that Noah Lyles said, the statement was said, I think how it was said, it was just out of context. I feel like it was something that was weighing on his heart for a long time. He's gained a following since then. He held it down, though, so congrats to him. Obviously, he did win, so that's big. First, before we dive into the Olympic gold medal being harder or easier than an NBA championship, how do you feel about the way that the NBA and oftentimes other leagues across the U.S. do refer to themselves as world champions?
I see both sides of this, honestly, but I do think we are the only country that does this type of thing, where I think there's no doubt in my mind that like the NBA is the collection of the world's best basketball talent. It is the best in the world in terms of the players there, and it is more international now than it has been in years past. So there is something to the fact that you are playing basically the best players from around the world. With that being said, winning an NBA championship and calling yourself world champions is something that America only specifically does. Like,
damn straight.
You're technically speaking, if you are not like Team USA competing against other countries, then that's not world champions. That's the best in the world because you're in the best league in the world. But saying that, you're world champions because you win an NBA championship, we're the only country that does that. And so I see why NBA players took umbrage with it, why they took issue with it. And yeah, I think we would all agree the best NBA team in a given season, maybe in the best 5 to 10 to 15, would beat any team from any league around the world. That's not disputed here. But it is interesting to me that people have kind of ganged up on Noah Lyles just because he's a little bit corny, when Greg Popovich said the same thing back in 2010, like saying being the NBA champion does not make you the champion of the world in that title. You're probably the best in the world, yeah, but strictly speaking, world champions, it's not the same thing.
Okay, so NBA, I get what you're saying. The one that bothers me the most is that baseball has
totally
has the cojones to sit there and tell you, for the last 100 years, it's the World Series. No, it's not the World Series.
Yeah. Right.
No, you can't have the World Baseball Classic and tell me that's what we're competing for, and then tell me you got the World Series over here as well. No, all right? No, that is not correct. I get that you're playing against most of the best talent in the world in the NBA, and I understand that you could feel like you're the best in the world. And maybe if they called themselves the best in the world, that probably just maybe a little bit better than world champion. I think it's a dumb nomenclature thing that started way before anybody was thinking beyond the United States in terms of that. But I mean, the NFL probably is the only one that can say world champions because most other countries don't play football.
Canada does, buddy. One country.
Canada does not play American football. They play CFL, which is a bunch of a bastardized version of American football. That's not football.
Football is football.
No.
So just for some context here, I did look. So the NBA, we're going to call it roughly 550 players total each season, and that includes two-ways, 10-day contracts, and things of that nature. So I think since two-ways were implemented, it went anywhere from like 520 all the way up to like 565-ish or something players over the season. So we're going to go with roughly 550 just for an easy number. At the start of last season, so on opening night, there were 125 international players from 40 different countries on rosters, which is roughly 22.7%. When we look at the MLB on opening day this year, they had 264 international players from 19 countries and territories, and that was roughly 27.8% of all the players in the MLB. So you are getting a substantial number of international players in these leagues. And with the NBA specifically, that has been an initiative of theirs over the last decade at the very least, to encourage the growth of basketball in other countries and to continue to keep track of and uplift international-born players who are playing in the NBA. So you do have probably the greatest basketball players of all these other countries that are represented in the league playing here in this league.
You do, but again, that's like 1/5 of the league.
It is. It's not. Like it's not as substantial.
Still a small percentage, and again, I get it, but it's a technical thing for me. Like it just is.
I have a fix. Like I think we can do it this way. If you want to be called world champions, that's fine, but you agree at that point that at any point in your offseason, another team that won a championship in another country can challenge you for world supremacy, right? And you have to play. There's no questions asked. It's like, I'm not a big wrestling guy, but it's like the Money in the Bank stuff that WWE does. They get, if you win the match, you get a briefcase, you can challenge for the champion. I want that. You have to accept at least 2 challengers if they decide to call it in the offseason, and you have to play. You have
I'd
to
be
play.
here for that.
Honestly, that'd be so great because CBK in the chat said there is no other team in the world that could beat the NBA champs or the MLB champs. That is the definition of world champions if we're really going to be technical. So if that's what we're going off of, then you should be able to challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
If that's what we're rolling with, then Espo, I love this idea. Plus, it would make the offseason so much more enjoyable and entertaining for all of us.
Yeah. But the only thing that the other team has to do is they have to cut it like a wrestling promo when they do it, when they challenge the other team. And it has to be like, we're coming for you. We believe we're better than you. Like, I want this. I want this drama in the offseason.
And the NBA would obviously wipe the floor with whoever they're being challenged by, like they would. But then they could call themselves world champions.
Exactly.
So
yes, exactly. And Michael said he made the comments a while back, though, not recently. So I don't get why it's still being brought back up.
I agree.
That's the internet. It's just kind of how it works.
Well, and it's because he was running over the weekend and NBA Twitter was lining up waiting to dunk on this guy
Which I think is ridiculous.
If he lost his race, he didn't win his race. He backed it up. He won the gold. It was a pretty dope race as well. So then Devin Booker was asked about the comments and the race, and that's why we're talking about it.
But you can't call yourself a world champion if you win in the Olympics either, unless you race against somebody from every other country.
Stop it.
Right? It's still a tournament format here.
Way too far.
Now you sound like my Twitter mention.
Way too far, 100%. Okay, now on to the other side of things. Devin did say that he thinks it's easier to win an Olympic gold medal than an NBA championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all in agreement here. Caveat, you are Team USA.
Yes. If you're like Greece,
right?
You're probably sitting there like, no, I disagree. I think winning the Olympics is harder.
South Sudan's like, no. We almost won in the exhibition, but no.
Yeah, because I mean, across the board, if you look at all the other sports and everything too, I don't necessarily think you can say that as definitively as a Devin Booker playing for Team USA in the men's basketball.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're bringing together what essentially has been for most of the time since 1992, the Avengers of basketball. When you've got Joel Embiid, who's like, I can pick from 3 countries, and I'm picking the United States.
That's the other side of it too. Is throughout the years, how many times have you had somebody on Team USA who could also potentially be on one or two other teams, but chose to play with Team USA? You're stacked AF. Like, it just is what it is.
I will say, though, there is something to that argument, just even if you are another country, because you only have to get to the knockout round and win one game, as opposed to in the NBA, you have to win best of 7, and you have to do it 4 separate times to get to the mountain. So just by the numbers alone, the talent alone, yes, winning an NBA title is obviously harder than the Olympics, but it's still hard to win a gold medal, especially in the Olympics, if you are not Team USA.
Well, and it keeps getting harder and harder, because if you look at the number of international players that were in the NBA when the Dream Team was there in '92, they only faced, it was a nominal amount of NBA players on their path. There's something like 60 plus NBA players dispersed around the rest of the tournament that aren't on Team USA this year. So that gap is closing for sure. But I still think, it's tougher to win an NBA championship.
Which is a positive, again, going back to how many international-born players are playing in the NBA, MLB, you name it. Like, that continues to grow year after year. And that's a positive for just the game of basketball in general, right? More people should be able to enjoy this game, should be able to play it at a high level, too. And I do applaud the NBA for their initiatives for bringing basketball just visibility to a lot more of these different countries, even with like their whole talks about Mexico City, like the games that we've had down there, and then them potentially wanting to put a G League team there, even the conversation about maybe an NBA franchise at some point in time. Like, expansion of basketball is never a bad thing. And it'll introduce us to more countries and people from different countries who are elite basketball players. I mean, look at the MVP award. 3 of the last 4 years have been to an international born player?
Yeah, I mean, Steve
That's
Nash
huge.
was international born, Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, there's a history of it as well in terms of the MVP. But even the NBA was talking about over the weekend, it came out that they're thinking about partnering with FIBA on doing an international league as well. Like, I think there's this game is probably as global as you're going to get in terms of professional sports and the NBA's approach to it as well. I mean, I remember in the early 90s, they were going over to Germany and France and all these places to do some fast food place we won't name that has golden arches, preseason European kind of tournament where like the Suns went and played a bunch of European teams in Germany in '94.
Yeah.
Like, so this league has embraced the international side of it for a very long time as well.
Yeah, and I think Bees said it best, even though Lyles is correct by technicality. It's the snarky way he said it that rubbed people the wrong way. The way he said it was kind of like, all right, why?
What? Snark rubs people the wrong way?
Since
Bullshit.
when? Since when?
No.
I also... Go ahead.
No, I don't accept that.
I agree with you. I'm on your team. I also think the U.S. has a leg up when it comes to just like the amount of talent that it produces within sports because according to census.gov, it is the 3rd most populated country in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Behind China and India.
Yeah.
So
It's a sheer numbers game.
Exactly. Just looking at the basic numbers, like they have a better chance to produce more athletes who are able to play at that level because math.
Because math.
I mean, the guy that invented the game wasn't American either. He was Canadian.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So, like, this was kind of born in an international mindset. So,
all right, we do have a couple super chats here. We'll take a peek at. The first one is from Lonnie. Thank you, Lonnie. They said non-Suns related, but the Rattlers play tonight at 7:05 for the conference championship on YouTube.
Nice.
Well, and I
Good
believe
luck to
on
the Rattlers.
Stadium as well.
Nice.
Channel if you got that.
That's amazing. I hope they win.
I love me some indoor
I'll
football.
always have a soft spot for the Rattlers. You know that. Brian also sent us a super chat. Thank you, Brian. They said, my dream is closer now for an NBA World Cup like soccer.
That'd be dope.
I mean, that would be actually
That'd
really
be
cool.
really fun.
That would be super fun. I support it.
I would support that, I think.
Yeah.
Until one of my guys got injured, then I'd be staunchly
Well, that's
against
always
it.
That's always the line.
Just like the Olympics.
Well, whatever. What we can do is all three of us will open a free checking account online with Desert Financial Credit Union. We'll get our $200 in bonuses. Mm-hmm. So then we'll have $600 to start this kind of petition to move this forward. I think it'll get us kind of far. It'll at least get us the ability to spend a few weekends without feeling like it's a waste of time to get in front of the people who can actually move it forward. Mm-hmm. So let's put our heads together and our money together, because when we've got Desert Financial Credit Union who has our back, we're going to be set up for success when it comes to finances. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, and they are dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. You can look to them for checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. And when you're looking for a new bank or a credit union, you want to join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with its members. And that is exactly who Desert Financial Credit Union is. And like I said, right now, when you open a free checking account online, you're going to get $200 in bonuses. You can get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Don't leave that 200 on the table, no?
Don't. I'm going to be a little open here right now.
Okay.
Over the weekend, I had a really rough weekend when it came to personally and from a mental standpoint. And I was frustrated because it's not easy. You can't get to your therapist on a weekend, right? And that's difficult. Like, everybody needs support, and I was in one of those places, and just needed to talk through some things. And I was thinking, you know what, I really need to get back with BetterHelp, because when I was with them, I didn't have that situation. I could get in touch with somebody and have those conversations when they happen, right? Because that's important. And, it wasn't anything serious, but it would have been nice to have somebody else to talk to, and BetterHelp provides that. And I highly recommend that you guys look into it, because we all suffer from all sorts of things. We all have our own struggles. I mean, relationships are tough. Just, in general, whether it's friends, work, a spouse or significant other, it's tough work. It's not easy just because, we're together. Well, on your honeymoon it might be, but other than that, it's not, right? And so I highly recommend you check out our friends at BetterHelp. Therapy can be a place to work through those challenges that you face in all your relationships. Like I said, whether it's work or friends or your significant other, you can really work together and with a therapist to try to get there, and right now, I want you to head over to betterhelp.com/PHNX. And, even if you're not looking for a soulmate, even if you have your soulmate, like Gerald has Amy, you can become your own soulmate too by working on your relationship with yourself. So visit betterhelp.com/PHNX today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PHNX. Sorry, I touched your hand, Gerald.
Oh, it's okay. That was a great ad read.
It was. Okay. As you all know, Gerald is back. but he went to Thailand for his honeymoon.
I did.
And you brought us gifts?
I did.
Hey.
I did indeed. So I want to preface this with the fact that I'm wearing the elephant shirt that is everywhere in Thailand.
It's like the quintessential uniform of tourists in Thailand.
I saw so many tourists walking around wearing this thing, and I was like, I got to save this till I'm back in the United States, where I will be the only person wearing this thing. But I say that because the elephant in Thailand is their national animal. Thailand is a majority Buddhist country as well, and the elephant has sacred meaning in Buddhism as well. So these elephants that I got for you guys, they're little handcrafted paper mache elephants from a vendor who was there at our resort, and they're very small. But they're very colorful. And each one, he told me, has a specific meaning based on the colors that he painted them with. So we'll start with Saul, who's not here. But this is the black and gold elephant, which is for decision making. And as GM, you're a leader. You're called to make some tough decisions at times. So this is meant to enhance his decision making. So I'll be sure to give that to him when he is back. Espo, you gave us that wonderful BetterHelp read. This blue one is actually meant to ward off negativity and depression.
Thank you.
So it's
You know me too well.
Yeah, so it's for optimism and positive
thank
vibes to
you.
keep the negative vibes
Thank
out.
you.
So I got that one for you. Lindsay, this one is the pink one, and it's not just because of outdated gender roles, but this one, the trunk is up, as you'll notice, which is for wealth and happiness, which
Aw.
I know both of those are important to you.
Yeah.
So I saw, he told me wealth and happiness, and I was like, okay, this is
That's
for Lindsay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This one, this very colorful one,
This is so cute.
just broods optimism. So this will be for Optimist Flex when he gets back, because
Aw.
it's literally meant to promote optimism. And this last one is for Eric. This is for health and protection. Obviously, he and his family have been through some health things recently, so I got this one for him. But they are
These are so thoughtful.
they are apparently
Bless.
indestructible. I wouldn't put it to the test because
No, I
he did
won't
say
try
they're
that.
made of paper mache. But yeah, he was telling me what each one meant based on the colors that he painted them, and I was thinking of all of you guys. So,
This is so sweet. Thank you,
means a lot.
Gerald.
so happy honeymoon to you guys.
Look, because we can't let anything ever be sweet and kind.
Sure.
Brian asks, is there a betting elephant flex?
Well, optimism.
Prosperity
we're
and money, right?
optimistic
Oh, okay.
that Flex will be better next year.
I
That's all.
unfortunately gave the wealth and happiness to Lindsay.
Yeah, it did.
So
You can't have it, Flex.
sorry
It's
about
mine.
that, Flex.
Sorry. The chat wants to know what you get them.
I got you a recharged Gerald.
Yes. And even more puns. If you've missed it,
Yes.
I think Gerald has already made 17 of them on Twitter
I have
since
made
his return yesterday.
entirely too many.
It's stupid. Did you
You
guys
missed
get
it.
it? Did
Was
you
it-
get it?
You missed it.
Was it a good trip?
It was.
A good trip?
It was a
Good.
great trip.
We do have another super chat here from Leo. Leo said, Girth, I asked the crew last week if they would want a guaranteed Suns championship or you personally winning the Arizona lottery. Which one are you going with? We set the bar at 500 million.
500 million?
And everyone except for Espo, Lyles, I don't believe him, said they would take the lottery 100% of the time.
So if I took the lottery, does that mean the Suns would never win a title, or does that just mean I'm taking the lottery and they could still win or lose?
It's just
regardless
not
of-
guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah. You're just kind of in limbo like you are now.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the $500 million.
Right?
See, you
Right?
all missed the loophole in this,
What's the-
right?
What is
There's
the loophole?
a
Where they
No,
you
your
know they're
loophole
going
is
in
wrong.
advance.
there's a
Zero
Back
loophole.
to the Future
It's not.
loophole here. You know they're winning.
So you put all your
So
money.
you put
But in order to make $500 million,
You won't make
you'd have
$500
to
million
put
with
like
the-
$2 million
get-
down, and who's got $2 million just hanging
what
around?
what do I need $500 million for? If I get the title and I get $50 million,
Mhm.
I think I'm just as good as I would be with $500 million. Because if
That's a
I'm
big
spending
difference.
through $50 million, like I got an issue in
Okay,
general,
but how much
right?
would you need upfront in cash to put down on the
It's not
Suns
just
winning
about you, Espo.
It
It's
is just
generational
about
$50
wealth.
million?
My daughter can take whatever's left of that $50 million or what I invested and be just fine with it. Like, if you need $500 million to make things work, you got bigger problems than whether the Suns are winning a championship
Oh.
or you have millions and millions of dollars, right?
It's even worse than I thought. So says Jay says 14 million, Lindsay, 14 million to get to
Damn.
that 500 million. So you're not getting anything.
I don't care.
You're going to
know
end
what?
up making $5,000
I
off
would
of your
take-
bet on the Suns winning a
I would
championship,
take
and that's it.
$500,000, pay off my mortgage and my cars, and be fine. Right? Like that's the kind of mentality I have. I don't need to be rich. I need to be comfortable with no additional stress. Like I would still work this job if I had a lot of money.
I get you. I don't need to be rich. I would like to be, but
Yes, facts.
and then I could still watch the Suns.
Yeah.
Oh, 1.4 million would get
I
you
can
50
make that
million.
happen.
You don't have $1.4 million
You're gonna
You don't
Lying
think I can get a
around.
loan? I can make things happen.
For 1.4 million?
You
That's
got to
like-
give up a percentage to
that's-
whoever invests.
that's like
and
one-
there's a whole thing.
That's like one weekend on OnlyFans for me. You know? Like,
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Look at what we've gotten
The
into. Buddha the Schizo sent us super chat and they said, "I just want to hear the welcome to Girth thing." Jacob, do we have that?
Ooh,
Can
I
we?
don't know
Can
if we
we?
do.
Can we get? He looks.
I got to look. Just
I'll
give me a
close
second.
it out and we'll see what we can do for you, Buddha,
Okay.
but no promises here. Thank you all, though, for being here with us. Once again, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Sons. I did post a little House of Dragon shenanigans on our Twitter today.
Mhm.
So if you're into that, I would love for you to go vote.
House
So
Panda.
I think I'm rolling with House Panda, too.
Yeah,
But
it's a
House
good
Tarantula, low-key, I feel like they do some damage.
They're all competitive.
Yes,
They're all
but
in the
go
running.
vote and let us know which one you think. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo.
Hit it, Jacob.
In the darkness, beyond the light, there shall only be one. Welcome to
We all silly like the mayor.